All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. I am merely Beau. He is the great Z. Gibbe is here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well.
No?
That's a demerit.
Oh, no. Not, in fact. No. Hit it again.
Hello.
Oh.
But that's two cycles.
That's two cycles
So
through.
it was that initially.
And then there was an adjustment, and then an
Or
on.
I had the mute button pushed down because
Oh,
I connected you earlier.
Gibbe.
What a demerit for you.
All right. I felt like I had that right.
You know what?
No,
When
he's
I
looking
con-
out.
when I-
That's
when I
looking out.
connect
That's looking out.
Yeah, we
on
want to be careful.
Conrex, if I see anybody's levels, I
Yeah.
tend to mute them until it's showtime.
Let me
All
tell
right,
you this.
fair,
Let me
fair.
tell you this, Gibbe. You can never
I
go
will take
wrong.
a demerit for that.
You can no demerit. I strike it. You can never go wrong erring on the side of caution.
Valid. Speaking of caution, this actually happened to me 15 minutes ago pulling in here.
Oh boy.
All right, so I'm coming down Lou Groza.
Watch your speed.
All right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen a cop there ever, to be fair.
Hmm.
Not that I speed, I don't, but I mean, if, I didn't. So
Just
anyway,
don't.
I come around the corner, coming down Lou Groza, and there is a human on what I don't really know I don't know what these things are. You guys have no doubt seen these, but I don't know that you know. I don't even know what the name of it is. Podes is, God, he's so great, so competent. All right. So I would say that it is essentially an electric unicycle without the bar. So just one of those wheel things that people stand on. You've seen this, right?
Jeff McDaniel has one.
Okay, so it's like the wheel thing. And
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how they turn them. I don't know how they make them go forward. I have no idea. But you zoom around on it's just a wheel with pedals, and you go.
Yeah.
So you've seen these things?
Yeah. My buddy, who's a
It's a
juggler,
death trap.
he juggles while riding around on his unicycle.
God bless
You
him.
need to stop overachieving.
So
He is overachieving.
this thing it's coming down Lou Groza. We're in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. I'm probably going 27-ish. Okay?
Risky.
He's going the same speed that I am. Okay?
On
Does he
one
have a
wheel.
helmet on?
On one wheel, did have a helmet,
All right.
but on as if that's all of a sudden that makes it okay. So he's going about 27 miles an hour on one wheel. It's not like he's not in a cabin. He's not doesn't have his hands on anything. I mean, it's the only thing that's making this thing go is just his feet. That's it. And I'm like, first of all, what are my responsibilities in terms of just being around it? Like, I was nervous. Like, I didn't want him to fall and then me hit him. Like, I just wanted out of the situation.
Nightmare stuff. Yep.
So I just punched La Flama Blanca, and we got around, and we were around
Gone.
and good and gone. I wanted no part of it. I would have taken the ticket gladly
Yeah.
versus drive behind this human. And then second, like, is that legal?
Yeah.
Not on the street, I don't think.
Well,
Well, I don't know what is or isn't. I just thought it was stunning, like that this was happening, that speed was achieved. Like I've seen people like monkey around with them in a gym or around a neighborhood, but I'm talking about like going down a major road above the rate of speed.
all I know is that a marmot inside city limits, that ain't legal either.
That
dude.
ain't legal either, dude. What do you I don't know. It felt like none of this seemed right to me.
No, scary. Yeah.
None of it seemed right to me. So I don't know. I just got around as quickly as possible. I would have taken the ticket. I was very uneasy about the entire situation.
I don't know how people don't severely injure themselves.
I feel like if I saw somebody, if I was a person of law enforcement and I saw somebody doing that, and then maybe it's totally legal. I have no idea. To me, it just feels like automatic ticket. Like this is not a way for safety in any way, shape, or form. It's for you driving 30 miles an hour. With this thing.
It makes me I'm nervous just hearing about it.
No
But
hands. I feel to me the
like-
no hands part. That's what separates from a bike. That's what separates from a motorcycle.
In addition to a second wheel.
And a second wheel. Like
For
we're talking
stability.
about one wheel,
No hands.
no hands. What are we doing? Why have that degree of difficulty attached to anything?
I feel like you should be getting paid to do that. Maybe this is practice. He puts himself in a.
Maybe.
I had a friend once who had a dog, and he felt that he had really trained this dog so well
Yeah.
that in order to prove that he had trained it so well, he would sometimes let it walk on very busy streets. We're talking like Cedar.
Yeah.
Without a leash. And I'm like, why are you doing that? He's like, because I've trained it so well. And I said, well, to me,
Why? Why
I said,
add
so
the
the
degree of difficulty?
The upside is the dog lives. The downside is, maybe I didn't train it so well because it sees a cat in the middle of the
Sure,
street for some
'cause
reason,
it's an
takes off because
animal.
it's an animal, and it gets run over in front of you, and you're like, oh, man, if I just had on a leash, my dog would still be here. So I don't see the risk-reward proposition in that scenario.
No, it'd be like not holding a kid's hand while you're walking on a street like that, like a small child's hand. Of course, you'd hold their hand. You wouldn't have them just running amok.
No,
even if you
carry
had trained them well, you carry them, or they're in a stroller, you hold their hand. Like, why add the degree of difficulty when it's not needed?
Well, especially when the downside is so immense and the upside is
nothing.
None. There is none.
There's
maintaining
no drawback to
the status
upside.
quo.
The upside is very easy. It's easy to attain.
Right.
Add some sort of a control with an arm bar. Give me a second wheel. Perfect. Put the dog on a leash. Easy. Conventional. Why add the degree of difficulty?
Yeah, no need.
Hey, the Baker podcast came out today.
It did.
A lot of stuff from 6 on this one included in that. It's nothing that I think is surprising to anybody. I mean, I understand his feelings on it. I understand the tremendous disappointment. Probably, I'm sure it would be natural if any of us were in the situation that he's in to feel disappointment or anger or all of the above. I think all of those things are in play. He is among the quotes. He says, I really, truly, honestly have no regrets of my time in Cleveland and what I tried to give that place. True Clevelanders and true Browns fans know that, and that's why I can walk away from the whole situation feeling like I did change the culture. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that, without
Absolutely.
question. Nothing in this there's nothing surprising. I think it's, there's disappointment in feeling that, that maybe he was done wrong, and I understand that from his perspective, because when you're you view it's just like in anything, any walk of life, you see the best of you, and you view yourself in the best possible light, and others sometimes don't.
Correct.
And that's, the reality is usually someplace in the middle, and so this has probably been an incredibly humbling thing for him. And
a very difficult thing.
A very difficult thing. And nothing he says here is shocking to me, and to me is very as I would expect it would be. And honestly, if I were in the position he were in, I'd probably feel a lot the same.
Yeah, and then a lot of it was focused on, he doesn't know what's next, but he's going to control what he can control and try to do the best job he can once he gets there. And that, he's had some ups and downs. He said 18 was great, 19 not great, 20 great, 21 not great, and just trying to kind of stabilize that. We talk a lot about keeping it in a tight dispersion, not so many ups and downs, and I think that's what he's hoping for. And it's I didn't think it was going to be earth-shattering, and
no.
I don't think that it was. And I think that, like we said, you can't take away what Baker Mayfield did for this city, for this team, for this organization, especially back in 2018, taking them to the playoffs in 2020. Like, that's all part of the history that has been written, and the people in charge of this organization decided that they felt that they needed more out of that position and made a very aggressive move to try to get more, just as the Rams felt that Jared Goff was good, took them to a Super Bowl, but that they needed more. Yeah. They get Matt Stafford, they had to go on to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying we're going to win a Super Bowl, but that's the idea. That's the idea.
Yeah, that's the idea of it all. So, again, I get it. Nothing surprising here. He did say, he was asked, where will you play next? He was very candid about that he thought it would be Indy. That was something that was not reciprocal from the Colts side of things, and they went and pursued Matt Ryan quickly. As soon as the Falcons missed out on Watson, they quickly pursued Ryan, and then that deal was done. He mentioned Seattle as a possible place as well. There aren't a lot of dance partners. My hunch would be that once the draft happens, you could see some dance partners at that point.
I guess it'll either happen in the draft.
Right before or in the draft.
But right before, in, or right after. But I think this will be resolved soon.
Yeah. So,
which is best for everybody.
Yep. That's where it is on that front. Best for everybody. Good to be in the Derek Carr household. 3-year extension, $121. It's funny. He's a guy that it felt like for the past 3 or 4 years, the Raiders have been trying to get rid of. And then eventually they just leaned into it and said, you know what, he's actually pretty good. And we'll keep him, and now all of a sudden he's going to be there through 2025.
It was like maybe Gruden was trying to get rid of him.
Well, I don't know.
And then Gruden's gone, and these guys love him. McDaniels comes in, and Ziegler, and they love him.
Do you think, Gruden had that when he was with Tampa Bay too, where he just liked collecting quarterbacks?
Yes.
And I think that went back to his time. You remember he came up with Holmgren in Green Bay, and they did that forever. Like, they would just keep quarterbacks. Doug Peterson was there. They had Favre. Then they had Flynn was in the mix. Brunell was in the mix. Like, they constantly just had quarterbacks. They would always draft one. Like, that was kind of their idea. They would just keep acquiring quarterbacks, but the difference there is they always had Favre, and he was unquestioned.
And they didn't question him, right?
Yeah,
I feel like even in Tampa, he was always questioning whoever was playing.
Oh my gosh, you couldn't wait. It was musical quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like he just kept trying to find another guy, at the position. So they won't have that. They are certainly one of those teams. And I was thinking about this morning, that in terms of, are you a Super Bowl contender? You and I had it at 8. In 8 in the AFC alone, we had 8. I don't know that that's even telling the full story, because the premise was, if you went into that building, do they consider themselves Super Bowl contender?
100%.
And I think Buffalo and Miami do in the AFC East.
Yep.
The Ravens, Bengals, and us in the North.
Yep.
The Colts and the Titans in the South.
Yep.
And all 4 in the West.
Yeah, because Miami's there now, and
there.
now the Raiders are there.
Correct.
Yeah, so did you just say 11?
Yeah. 8, 6,
3, 2, 2,
9,
4.
2, 11 in the AFC view themselves as, if things go our way, we can win the Super Bowl. And then you're also, to that 11, you're adding New England, who's absolutely thinks themselves as a playoff contender. Pittsburgh, for sure. Why wouldn't they?
Yep.
And are you sure about Jacksonville and New York? Jacksonville thinks maybe with competent coaching, and a leap from Lawrence, the division's not that great as AFC goes.
They can make a run.
They can make a run. There's like 2 teams in the AFC that are like, yeah, we're probably not us. The Jets and the Texans. That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody else.
Because it's insane. It's loaded. It's bonkers.
It is.
We've got better or worse coming up, and we got the win totals. And the win totals speak to the fact.
I haven't even looked at them yet.
And some of them I think are pretty wild, to be honest with you. But it's kind of it's a strange thing. And you've got basically, other than 4 teams, everybody's right around, 500 or better. Whereas in the NFC, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams that are kind of below that threshold.
We've never seen this type of imbalance. Or
Never.
depth
Never.
in one and the other. And it's
We've certainly seen it at the top.
by the way, 2 of the teams that we're saying not in the mix are the Jets and the Jaguars, both of whom took quarterbacks number 1 and number 2 overall last year. If those guys hit, then they're in the mix. And by the way, Mac Jones too. Like, if he's great, then they're in the mix.
Yeah.
And Houston's going to draft a quarterback in this year's draft. Next year coming up, could be number 1 overall. Maybe it's C.J. Stroud. Now all of a sudden, that's another one in the mix in the AFC.
Let's let the Falcons go ahead and get the first pick next year. And I feel like
I'm
that's
hopeful.
quite in play.
That's the worst roster. I mean,
It feels like it's quite in play. Believe it or not, I don't even know if this is something we would have covered, but their win total is actually projected to be better than that of the Texans, which I don't know how they're not projected to be the worst team in the league right now.
the only thing I can think of is just they play in a bad division, and so they'll steal some wins in a bad division.
Sure.
That's it. Because Carolina's not great either.
That's the second worst in the NFC.
Yeah. Where are the Saints? They got to be in the mix.
Still below the 500 line, but just up there.
Just up there. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll have some fun with that. Last night for the Cavaliers, yeah, this is why everybody tanked on Sunday. Because who wants to deal with those two? Nobody wants to deal. Why do you want to deal with Durant and Kyrie?
So that's probably, other than the game that I attended in person, that was the first start to finish game that I watched.
You stuck.
Watched the whole
40
thing.
to 20, you stuck. Stuck. Okay.
They are a two-hoss team. Like, there's no doubt.
There's not even a third.
No. But they're pretty darn good, and Kyrie is absurd.
Yeah.
Durant is great. I thought the Cavs showed a ton of fight, and I thought the way that they closed that game out should give them some good feelings going into Friday night's big game. But, yeah, you don't want to mess them because in a series, it was always if you had one star, a star could take over series. They have two. They will always have two of in any series they play in the Eastern Conference. And correct me if I'm wrong.
In the league.
In the league, they will always have two of the three best players on the court, period, right?
Yeah. I mean, is there any...
So Celtics have Tatum
and Brown.
But they're not.
No.
Tatum's great. I love Tatum.
Let's just do the ones that are even... So Durant is always going to be the best player on the court. The only people who are of his ilk are Embiid, Giannis, and Jokic. Like those would be
And
the
none
only
of them
ones that are
have
on
Kyrie
on
with
their
them.
level, and none of them have Kyrie.
Kyrie is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I was having that conversation with my oldest. He has discovered like Allen Iverson recently.
Oh, man.
And he goes, Dad, did Allen Iverson have the greatest? Do you think he has the greatest handle of all time? And I thought about it for a second. I said, buddy, I'm not sure it's not Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving might have the best handle of all time. He's got the best handle I've ever seen. It's like the ball is connected to his hand, and he can get the shot whenever he wants to get it. He can create separation.
He doesn't really miss.
And he doesn't miss. The only thing that keeps him from being like, and I think he views himself as like Kobe, is just the fact that he's 6'1" and not 6'6" or 6'7". That's it.
And he's not necessarily a lockdown defender.
No.
but he
I'm
can
just
play
mean like
D.
on the offensive
Sure,
end. Like he
sure.
is
But he can get a shot off against
stunning,
anybody.
a stunning offensive player. And to me, I said, yeah, I think Kyrie might be the best ball handler I've ever seen, even better than Allen.
He is certainly in that discussion. Watching the Nets, I was surprised that they just don't have Steve Nash suit up to play on that second team and just stand in the corner and shoot threes. Like they need somebody else who can.
Looks like he's in great shape.
Yeah, he looks totally in tremendous condition.
Just go stand there and shoot.
He's like slinging a line of like dress shoes that he plays basketball in. I mean, I feel like he's got it all figured out.
Yeah, it's a good point. Like he would probably be better than anyone they're going to run in.
And correct me if I'm wrong, as I watch them, but isn't Amari's on their staff too?
I noticed him behind the
bench.
behind
the bench.
Yeah, I thought, oh, that's.
I was like, wait a second,
Amari's
who is
there.
that? I'm like,
yeah,
that's Amari.
You got a few minutes in you, Amari? You could come out. Give him
Yeah,
a couple minutes. Yeah.
I don't see how Simmons fits in with their team unless he's the ball handler and they're running a drive and kick game with Durant and Kyrie spotting up. But why would you ever want to take the ball out of Kyrie's hands or Durant's hands?
Well, I don't think they view him. I think the reason that he's a fit for them, or the way that they would think he's a fit, is he's an elite defender.
Yep.
He can kind of defend 1 through 5 a little bit.
Anybody.
He can defend anybody. So they will view him that way, and he will be somebody that, he rips a board and then he goes and then they run. But anything in the half court is going to be run through Durant and Irving.
They're the #1 isolation team in the league. By the way, Blake Griffin can't even get on the court for them anymore. It's not like they're
broke down. It's another one of those guys who just floor
off
fell
a
out.
cliff.
But by the way, the DNP coaches' decisions last night for the Brooklyn Nets, like LaMarcus Aldridge,
Yeah, they got
like
all those
Griffin,
old guys.
like
Well, they kicked the
there's
tires
some
on all those guys on minimum contracts.
yeah.
And they
I feel like
Absolutely,
Aldridge would
but
be able to
it-
still shoot.
maybe you can't get up and down.
Yeah.
It was one of those things like you looked at them like, God, like a couple of these guys were top 10, top 15 players in the league not too long ago.
There's a lot of parallel between Durant and Kobe in that for the majority of their career, you would say that they were the 1A to the best player in the game. And for some portion of their career, they were the best player in the game. And both of them have the same amount of combined MVPs as Nash has on his own and as Jokic will have on his own. Durant's won 1 MVP. Kobe won 1 MVP. If you look back on it, you try to say, well, should he have won this one? Could he have won this one? Like if you were redrafting the league, Durant would have gone #1 a lot when you're redrafting the league, a lot. And he's only won the 1 MVP. It was in OKC.
Yeah.
All those years ago.
He's won 2 championships with Golden State,
Yeah, they won the 2.
but that's it.
Yeah, but for a guy who, like to me, he's the most terrifying. If the team I like's playing against that guy, I'm terrified because I feel like can score any most lethal offensive player I've ever seen.
He's a mismatch that you cannot
Everybody.
account for.
And he played pretty good D last night.
Yes, he did. Cleaned up the blocks, blocked shots. Yeah, all of that. I'm with you. I think it'll do the Cavs a great deal of luck. Do we have a Guardians opener and Cavs? Are we going to
like
move
someone's
guards?
gotta move.
Don't guards have to move?
I feel like someone's got to move. We're moving.
We're moving.
We're
out.
moving.
We're going to be off on Friday.
Great
We're
job
out.
by you, Gibby. But don't you think like 3:05 first pitch?
Absolutely.
Why not go 4 o'clock right into the 7:30 tip?
Whatever.
Well,
Like
no need to be so close.
I mean, just you got to do that. Like, there's no reason to do them at the same time.
And I don't know for sure. I read somewhere that like the Giants who are playing us are in on Thursday and it's an off day, so it's not like the Giants are coming in.
Okay, so let's
this
let's
doesn't
have
make
some
any
sort of
sense.
civic
Put it at 4
duty
o'clock
here.
and let's go.
Put the thing at 4 o'clock. Oh, everybody wants opening day in the afternoon anyway. No one wants it at night. So do it in the afternoon.
It's cold at night.
Sort it out. That's
Have
how
you
you do.
seen the forecast for Friday night?
No, I haven't. I'm terrified to even look. I don't want to look. You know what happened to me last night? I was all excited. It was a gorgeous day, high 60s last night. Just gorgeous, not a cloud in the sky. I took the TV outside. We got the fire pit fired up.
Sure.
Bootsy's getting an evening soak.
Oh,
Boys are getting some shots.
Sad
up.
I wasn't invited
what
over.
a wonderful no transformative turkey. And
it
so
for me to be there
must be transformative turkey.
Okay.
So that'll be the setup that has to apply for that. So I take the TV outside. I'm all excited. What I did not account for, and I was stunned at their presence, was mosquitoes. I couldn't believe it.
Mosquitoes?
I could not believe it. Like it was just
feels very early.
We had grapple Saturday.
Yeah, they should be frozen.
I thought they'd be frozen. I was floored that they were in the mix. Like we'll spray for them next week.
Yeah.
But it was an attacking. I was out there for an hour. I was like, I got to get out of here.
What's your plan? Do you bring in like a Mosquito Joe guy? You bring in a guy?
There's a guy.
Yeah.
There's going to be, I go old school zappers at various places on the property.
Love a zapper.
To pull the zappers, to pull them in. So we'll do that.
You get to hear the zzz.
Yep.
So satisfying.
It's so great. So we'll do that. And then I know there may even be another.
Some citronella candles.
All of that.
Some torches.
I will go. I will be prepared. I will be prepared.
All you really need to do, according to my father's, they just have me come over. They love me. It's my sweet blood. He claims to be the most and they do. Like he will. We could sit at a campfire.
Get him to dial in and us record just that.
Yeah, my sweet blood.
That exact line would be great in the show.
All right, I'll ask him.
You know what I'd like is I'd like for us when we get merch, which there was a time when I thought it was close. Now never. But at one point
it could be back again. By the way, I'm wearing my. Speaking of, remember I told you the golf hoodie. I wore it today.
Oh, this is the golf hoodie.
This is the golf hoodie.
This is gorgeous.
Wouldn't you love to see a CBD branded golf
hoodie? Yes, I would.
Okay.
A line of Pedro's best quotes on shirts I feel would be great because he's a caricature anyway. Like we've even amplified it.
Yes.
But then you see him in person and like the mustache. When we had the trial of Pedro, which went very quickly, I quickly put an end to it. But when we had the trial of Pedro, yeah, but it was just so unaware that he had been convicted.
Yeah. Already.
It took a second. I mean,
he didn't realize he was convicting himself the whole time. Everything about it.
Stunning. Yeah. I was actually nervous about it because I thought, how am I going to get him to this place without leading him? I want to make sure that we do this right. We need a proper trial. It's got to hold up in a court of law. But he just admitted to the crime right away, so it was actually quite easy.
I feel like we could move Spumoni.
We
could
there's
sell
no question.
He should have his own line of Spumoni.
A caricature of his face and then yelling out the phrase.
Yes,
put this phrase on
Coffee.
the back.
And then that's just gonna. I feel like we could sling those.
Like the old school, like my Dickie V, Arizona's #1 baby, where it's the little body, the big head, and then the bubble with the
phrase.
Yeah,
that's all I want.
Oh my God, I'd wear those everywhere.
I feel like we could sling those. He's got so many lines.
Dumb beep.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's so many great ones.
So many.
I like it. What else? Did I have one other thing that was somehow related to Pedro? No. It'll come to me if it does. We've got mock drafts. We've got Kuipers. We've got a little better or worse.
I'm not feeling a lot of these mock drafts. That's just a teaser.
Okay, so let's get into that next. In addition to discussing the mock drafts, we'll get into our lack of feel for it because I don't feel it either. Those are among the many things we'll get to on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Your business operations collects all the data you need, but you're having a hard time bringing it together and seeing the full picture. Beau here for my friends at EOX Vantage. Their data scientists are also business operations experts. Your EOX Vantage team will help you build an automated system that brings your data sources together in real time and turns them into eye-opening dashboards so you can make smart, time-sensitive decisions. Staring at spreadsheets to provide insight you needed to know last month. With EOX Vantage, you'll know exactly where your people stand on their activities and deliverables and gauge your financial performance. Easily and accurately track progress and your ROI. Check out how companies are making their business intelligence smarter by visiting EOXVantage.com. What part of the draft are you not feeling? What they do with us at 44 or the draft in general?
Yes.
Same.
So start with the first piece. I think going into it, it is clear that the Cleveland Browns have needs. Right now, the most pressing need for your starting lineup immediately is defensive end.
Yeah.
I would say our defensive tackle group is – we've got some young guys that we've invested draft capital in. We've brought in a former first-rounder, but it is far from complete. I mean, right now, at the time where you're getting ready for OTAs, we have 3 defensive ends on the roster, Garrett, Winovich, and Curtis Weaver. We have 3 defensive tackles on the roster, Jordan Elliott, Tommy Togiai, and Taven Bryan. So those are obvious needs. Obvious needs. The wide receiver position, I believe, still remains a need. Now, all of these positions can be addressed in free agency, whether it's a guy like Clowney, there are guys in the middle of the defense you could plug in, as Sheldon Richardson, who's been with the Browns. Akeem Hicks is out there. Bring back Sheldon Day, who I thought played very well for us. So there are options in free agency, and same at receiver. A second-round pick in a year in which you do not have a first-round pick. Second-round pick in a year in which you do not have a first-round pick is your first-round pick.
That's right.
It is something where you are looking for a position of impact. I believe, and this is, again, these are not scores. This is me saying what I believe I know of our philosophy here. I believe that we'll start with the defensive positions, end and tackle. I believe the Browns view end and edge and rushing the passer as imminently more important than they view a defensive tackle. But a defensive tackle who is a dominant pass rusher, they would view just as important as an edge. We're talking Aaron Donalds. We're talking J.J. Watts. We're talking Chris Jones. There aren't a lot of those guys. And by the way, nobody like that is going to be around at pick 44. Now, from doing some of my research about the defensive tackles in this draft class, most of them are run-oriented. DeMarvin Leal is a guy that played a lot of end in college at 283, but can move inside and flashes first-round potential, but then also flashes like wildly inconsistent. So maybe if you were thinking of a defense tackle, effect, we keep getting guys who are more of run stoppers, like Travis Jones, 6'4", 325-pound nose tackle, eat up space, allow the rest of the defense to find the football. We took a guy like that in the first round, Danny Shelton. Fine players, been in the league for a long time. But that's not where you put a priority asset, a premium asset. And I believe this is very much a premium asset now for the Cleveland Browns, pick number 44. So in my mind, that's going to be at a premium position, which is wide receiver or defensive end. They may go and draft a defensive tackle, but he would have to be a guy that they felt like could really get to the passer. At the end of the day, as a defense, just from a philosophical standpoint, you are much better off inviting a team to run the football and run what are, and therefore, suboptimal plays in the long run versus throwing the football. The fact of the matter is a bad quarterback in the NFL, a bad quarterback, I'm talking bad, is going to average a minimum of 6 yards an attempt. A minimum.
Mm-hmm.
The best running back in the NFL is going to average 5 yards a carry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, decent quarterbacks are going to be in the 7-yard range. Goods are going to be 8, maybe even to 9 if you're leading the league.
Yep.
So go ahead. What does that mean? Every time you run this play, you get X number of yards. Every time you run this play, you get X number of yards. Passes are always more. That's why teams should pass on first down. That's why you don't eliminate the run game. You need to have that physicality. But as a defense, if you're saying we are going to always be able to get to the quarterback and we have a back end that can absolutely cover with our dime package, with our corners, with all of that, which we do have, if you want to just start running the ball between the tackles, okay, because if one guy misses a block one play, we hit you for a loss. Now you're in an obvious passing situation. You're playing into our strength. And by the way, matriculating the ball down the field is very difficult.
Yes.
So I think the Browns philosophically are like, what we'd love to find is an interior pass rusher who can be a sub-package pass rusher. Guys up there, and maybe Jordan Elliott takes that stride. Tommy Togiai takes that leap. But I don't see that being as a premium position they're going to invest what would be their most valuable asset. Again, could be totally wrong, and I'd be the first to say I had that wrong.
He's not.
It feels to me like we're going to go edge or receiver here because those are more important positions overall to what we do. And whether we get Clowney back or not, we need succession planning at that defensive end opposite of Myles Garrett. We've heard, Drake Jackson. We've heard the Josh Paschal guy reminds people of Agba. Maybe you take a gamble on Ojabo. I mean, that feels like a great opportunity to me. I have a hard time thinking like, okay, he might end up as a 2-down defender. That's what it says about Travis Jones. That's the last sentence. He might end up as a 2-down defender.
Yeah, this is from Mel Kiper Jr.'s most recent 2-round mock draft. Like,
what's the most important down of the 3 downs?
Third, and
so
now
money
he's not
down.
To be there.
And we're saying this guy's not going to play in that situation.
It just doesn't add
up.
up.
It doesn't add up to me.
What Z just gave you guys was kind of a master class in roster building, one that is similar to the way, very, very similar to the way that the people here believe. I know how they view roster building. So, yes, the idea. So Travis Jones doesn't check any of the boxes. You think about everything you just laid out, just positionally importance and the way that we would value that. But beyond that, if you think about the guys that we've taken high in the draft, it's usually Power 5 powerhouse school, and it's usually a young player from a big-time school who's played in big moments and big spots.
Yep.
Go look at who we've drafted high since this regime has been here. There's a constant there with that. That's part of the MO. So, no, Travis Jones made no sense to me for myriad reasons. Like, to me, okay, 4th round, maybe you take it. I don't see it in the 3rd either almost. I don't see it first, 2nd, or 3rd. To me, receiver and end are musts. The only thing I could say is if some just unicorn drops that it's not a position of need, but God, he's so great. We got to take him. There could be something like that that would have them go off D end or receiver. But
I could say a corner, a safety,
sure,
something where they feel really good about a position that is always a premium. But as I kind of just look at this mock right here, and we're talking about Kiper. So he has, for those wondering, David Ojabo goes 34th to the Lions, which would be that's a tremendous pick. A guy that would have gone earlier than that, or people would have thought would have gone earlier than that. He falls to you there. So when I look at this, where the Browns are on the board. Boye Mafe, I think, is somebody that they would consider as kind of an edge rusher out of Minnesota. Then you get to 44, the Browns take Travis Jones. But on the board, George Pickens.
Yep.
Big program, Georgia. 6'3" outside receiver with number 1 traits. I know he tore his ACL last spring. He made an impact. No guarantee lasts till round 2, but they should try. That sounds like exactly the kind of guy that we would want to bring in here. So he's on the board at 47.
Drake Jackson's on the board.
Sky Moore's on the board. Drake Jackson is on the board right there. And big physical guy, situational pass rusher. Yeah, those names just all feel like, to me, they make more sense for the Browns than what you would see out of a defensive tackle. And again, happy to admit that I was wrong. I feel like we have, at this point, a pretty good understanding of it. And remember, these guys came in after the draft that saw the Browns take Danny Shelton, a non-pass rushing 2-down defensive tackle. I think we took him 11th overall, I want to say, some in that range, 10th overall that year. They were brought in as a result of some of those decisions. So I have a hard time seeing a 2-down run-stopping defensive tackle be the guy that they're looking at. Like, if you think about the way we played defensive tackle last year, Malik Jackson wasn't a run stopper.
No.
And neither was Malik McDowell.
No.
They're good athletes, and I think it's a shame, obviously, what has happened with Malik. He would be somebody that you would already be in there. Mm-hmm. He would be a starter. And then you're saying, okay, Togiai feels like that's what he's supposed to be.
Correct.
Eventually, with all that strength, as a guy who's in there. Now, he's not as physically big as some of the guys you want in there, but clearly incredibly strong. And there was a lot of talk, I remember when he came out and the Browns got him, that he stayed one more year. He's a first-rounder this year.
Right.
So you've got that guy. I think there are veterans you can bring in, and you want somebody just to kind of plug the middle. Space eaters, there are those guys. But those guys have a limited role, my opinion, in the National Football League in the year 2022.
So to address the other part of it, where we said same and yes, this draft doesn't have a lot of juice for me. Now, I don't know. It's not just because we don't have a pick. It's not because we didn't have a pick in the Beckham draft, and there was the year we traded for Odell, and there's still a lot of juice to that draft for me. And I've settled on this. Part of it is it doesn't feel like there's a transformative quarterback.
Number one.
That's number one. The second thing is, as I'm looking at this, it doesn't seem like anybody who's drafted is going to be the difference maker on that team going from a playoff team to a Super Bowl team. You could talk me into a receiver late. But it's almost like
Green Bay or to Kansas City,
right?
Sure.
But it still feels.
But they're
like
already there.
But they're already there.
Yep.
Like there's not a player who's going to be drafted that's like, oh, game change. Like Aiden Hutchinson's probably going to go number 1 overall. That seems to be most of the momentum to Jacksonville. Like he's a fine player.
Sure.
But he's not a Bosa. I don't think he's Chase Young.
No.
So he's a really good player, but he's not that. He's not Myles Garrett. So that's kind of I think that's why. Like my feeling on this is it's kind of a really good draft, but it's not a transformative draft. Other than there could be a couple of these receivers that turn into that, but the teams picking high aren't taking a receiver. And honestly, even the receivers who are here, I don't think any of them are Jamar Chase. They're not Calvin Johnson. There's not that type of physical dominant guy out there, even at receiver.
Yes, there are some good, interesting players, but you're right. Like there isn't that guy where everybody goes, oh my god. Now it may turn out that way in a few years that there are people that are great. I mean, I don't think anybody went in that draft saying, "Oh, Justin Jefferson is going to come in and dominate the league the way that he did," and he has. And so, Garrett Wilson. But it also feels like some of the guys that we're talking about with the skill from a skill standpoint, like Wilson could end up in Atlanta.
Right.
Receiver to the Jets. Now they have Zach Wilson. They like him. And all of a sudden you're saying, oh, you've got Drake London, Corey Davis, and Elijah Moore. I think the Jets get pretty interesting in that scenario. So that helps elevate them. But there doesn't seem to be that big one. And I think part of it is, too, we do not have that spot where we're right now looking to get an impact player. But if we can come away with a Grant Delpit or Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I'd be pretty pumped about that. And I think, last year we talked philosophically about how, an off-ball middle Mike linebacker, which a lot of people thought, oh, we wanted that 2-down thumper. No, you got a guy who is part safety, part corner, part pass rusher, and it does everything in Owusu-Koramoah and never has to come off of the field. They're very particular about, I think, what they want. And that's why we knew it was going to be a corner last year. It was a corner. I just would be I keep seeing these mocks, and they keep going defensive tackle to us, and I keep feeling like I don't get it. And even yesterday, the guy from Walter Football, now he said his mocks are not based on what he would do. It's what the sense that he gets. I think we're probably a pretty good organization in terms of smoke and whatnot.
Misdirection.
Because there wasn't a ton of Newsome to us other than Dane.
Dane was the only one
that I recall. And we thought that was certainly a possibility, but Dane Brugler, from The Athletic, our great friend of the program, he was the guy that was on that. I'm getting annoyed seeing these keep coming at 44.
They keep coming. It's so many. It feels like every time we do one, it's D-tackle at 44. It just doesn't
like if that said Pickens test. Right there, I'd be like, all right.
That makes sense.
Exciting.
Got it. Yep.
Fun.
All right, speaking of fun, Z goes one-on-one with Jakeem Grant, our new punt returner, our new return specialist. That is coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider of your Cleveland Browns. They have all the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. New return man Jakeem Grant, one-on-one with Dr. Z. Let's have a listen.
Very happy now to be joined by the newest member of the Browns, Pro Bowl returner, wide receiver Jakeem Grant. Let's just start there. Pro Bowl returner. When you found out last year that you were going to the Pro Bowl, I'm sure that's one of the things when you think about, I'm going to play the game. Man, I'd love to be in a Pro Bowl someday. What was that like?
It was, man, words can't explain it. It was very exciting, especially with being not making it the year before, and I was all pro the year before, and I was like, what else do I need to do to make it to the Pro Bowl? And so when Coach Nagy told me, I was like, oh my God, like, man, this is like a dream come true. And so when I got there, I was like, and then they told me, hey, you're not going to be catching punts in the Pro Bowl. I was like, okay, so now what do I do now? But, because it was a dream come true. It was amazing, especially with just being there in that atmosphere and knowing that you have fans outside of just the Chicago Bears fans and everybody that look up to you. It was a great feeling.
By the way, all pros, nothing to see
Yeah.
that. That's a pretty good thing as well. So you decided, hey, I'm going to bring my skills to the Cleveland Browns. The Browns wanted you. How did this kind of process come together?
Cleveland were very aggressive, and I've been looking at them for the longest, and they needed a returner. And I was just like, especially with receivers too, I was just like, no better fit. And also, it was just an easy option.
Good.
And so I love the coaches, COs here, Chad O'Shea. Yeah. I had him in Miami. I had a great relationship with him. So that was another reason why I came, and I was just like, man, why not? You know, and I heard about just the people in the room and just what they're about, and I was just like, man, that's what I'm about too. And so, man, it checked off every check box on my list. So I was just, I'm a Brown now.
Well, we love that because it's easy when you go and you watch your highlights. You're an electric factory. And I don't know if they've hit you with the stats. So the last Browns punt return touchdown was 2015. The last Browns kick return touchdown was 2009, the great Josh Cribbs. So it has been a while. And I was looking, you have 6 return touchdowns on your resume. You've had either a kick or a punt 4 straight years, right? Mm-hmm. How do you do it, man? They've changed the rules. You're not supposed to be able to do this.
If they kick it to me, they're going to pay. That's my whole thing. It's like, it's either you kick it out of bounds or I'm going to the crib. And so definitely going to change that this year. I'm not banking on just getting one. I'm banking on getting a multiple. So, they know. They know if they kick it to me, they seen the tape, they seen everything. I'm not a fair catch guy. So just letting them know now, I don't fair catch. And so do what you want to do with that information.
I love it. I love it. What's your favorite of all the return touchdowns? Do you have one that stands out?
I'll probably say the one against Green Bay, because everybody expects like a returner to just let it go, bounce in the end zone, or fair catch it, and I caught the ball on the 3, and I'm like, man, no returners is doing that, you know. Besides what Devin Hester.
But I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, that one 97 yards set the franchise record for the longest punt return touchdown with the Bears, who has Devin Hester, who is likely to be in the Hall of Fame, is arguably the greatest returner of all time. So that's pretty cool too.
Absolutely. And then I didn't even know that he did not do that. Like that was the longest one in history.
You said nobody catches it on the 3.
And so I'm like nobody is doing that. So if you could go back and even against the Raiders, the punter punted like 5 yards in the end zone, I brung it out anyways. And I told him, I'm not trying to be just an average returner. Like I want to be the one that's remembered. I want to be, the next one to take, Devin Hester's story. Sure. And I have a far mountain to climb. And that's my goal is to, pass him up. And he's a great person to look up to. And so, that's my whole mentality.
So walk us through kind of the process. So the ball gets kicked. You have an idea of like what return has been called or set up. What's kind of your checklist? What are you going through? What are you looking at when the ball's in the air?
Okay, so first thing I check is the gunner's release and see if, my teammates, jammers, got them matched up because they're typically the first ones to get down there. Yeah. And so I already took a peep at the flight of the ball. I'm getting to the spot, and all I'm doing is I already checked them out. And so that gives me the indicator if I'm going to fair catch it or not, which most likely I'm going to fair catch it no matter what.
That's right.
No matter what. But he has to be like basically standing right next to me if I'm not going to fair catch. So after that, I'm just like, okay, if it's a left return, right return, or middle return, I'm catching the ball and just setting it up and trusting that my teammates are having it on and just letting the athletic ability take place. And so once they kick it to me, I'm like, it's basically backyard football. If anybody think about it, it's backyard football, easily.
Has there been one where you knew before you caught it, you were taking it to the house? And I'm sure you have the mindset, I'm going to take this house, but was there one that where you just kind of saw the way things were setting up where you're like, all right, it's happening?
Yes, actually the one back in 2020 against the Rams. And it was just set up too perfect. It was perfect. And it was a right return to the sideline, and I seen the whole cavalry of my teammates just blocking or set up on the right side. I seen like basically you call it the Great Wall of China, and so just seeing that right there, and I was untouched, and I was just saying that's just and I was like, I took my hat off to them because that was just nothing but blocking. All I did was run, and so I was like, anybody could have done it. So, man, it was unbelievable.
All right, so we said 6 return touchdowns. Yeah. Obviously, that's your passion, All-Pro, Pro Bowler. You also can do quite a bit in the offense. You have a rushing touchdown. You've got a bunch of receiving touchdowns, had 2 of them last year. What do you like better? Do you like scoring as a runner, a returner, or as a receiver? Or do you not care? Just get me in.
Honestly, I do not care. Yeah. I would say like the punt returns are more electrifying because it gives, the crowd goes crazy, especially because it's like less likely to happen in a game. Anybody can, go and score, a catch and touchdown and things of that nature. But everybody is like, okay, a punt return or a kickoff return to the house it's electrifying. It also sucks like the momentum out of any team because that's an instant change of, possession. And they're like, man, like special teams could easily win you a game, and so that's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
And so
Three phases.
Exactly. So I'm me with being a punt returner and also like a receiver. I'm trying to take over the whole game on every aspect. So they're like, man, we can't stop them on offense, and we sure can't kick them the ball. So I mean, only way we don't have no choice but to just contain them our best ability. And so that's my mentality: is just being a punt returner and a receiver is just taking over a whole game.
I notice you're holding the ball in your left hand. You got a chance to talk with our special teams coordinator,
Absolutely.
Mike Prefer, and that's what he said, get that ball in your left hand, and here you are.
And he's been telling me, hey, walk around all day today with the ball in your left hand, because that on my notes when I told you when I was excited to have you here, and I was like, Coach, I'm glad to be here. Is like, but one thing that I want to talk about is why do you carry the ball in the right hand? And I told him, I was like, it's because I feel like I'm running slow. That's the only reason why I do it, because I'm not used to carrying it in the left hand.
Sure.
And it automatically, like, without even thinking, it goes to my right hand. And so he was just like, I'm going to continue to harp on you having it in your left hand. And there's so many things or extra yards that you could have gotten if you would have had the ball in your left hand. And I was like, I haven't even thought about that, but that's why you take coaching. I'm a player, he's a coach, and he can see that. And so you see me doing it now, having the ball in the left hand.
Listen, you go from great. There's always room to improve, right?
Exactly.
There's always room to improve. So
always.
I love that. And you mentioned Chad O'Shea when you were together in Miami, and he's been here. I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's been great for this organization. What was that relationship like, and how nice is it to have kind of a familiar face in the building?
Oh, it's great. Fortunately, I only know Baker and Juice and Rashad Higgins, Hollywood. And so, fortunately, Juice and Rashad are gone. Sure. But with seeing Coach O'Shea, I didn't even realize he was, the receivers coach. And so, I was like, what are the odds of us being back?
Offensive coordinator.
Yeah, offensive coordinator, yeah. And so I was like, what are the odds of us being back in the same building? And it's just great because we had a great relationship in Miami. And so it just, the future is going to be great. That's all I can say.
I love it. And you have a great kind of way about you. I can feel your energy, very infectious, a big smile all the time.
Yeah.
Is this something that you ever dreamed of when, you got into the game and, you said, all right, I'm going to the NFL. I'm going to be more of a return guy now, All-Pro, Pro Bowler. Signed a very nice contract. Congratulations on that for you and your family, by the way. But is this kind of is it kind of wild to take it all in?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, honestly, people did not know that I never did punt return or anything before I got to the NFL. Like, I never caught a punt. I couldn't catch a punt. I didn't even have trust in my own teammates to, like, you have to have a little bit of insanity to catch punts.
Yeah, you do.
Because your head is almost at a 90 degree, and you're saying, I trust this person to make sure I don't get blown up.
Yep.
And even going up and fair catching it in between traffic just for field position, like, is insane. It's just insane. And especially, like, with me, I would take a hit before I like, catch a fair catch.
Sure.
And so all I did was, like, I was a receiver before anything, before I even did special teams. And so I was just like, you know, with being my size, I want to add more to my game than the taller receivers. I want them to know that, like, I can be a returner and I can take over on the special team games and on the offense. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna add that niche to it. I remember coming into the lead and catching my first punt with Darren Rizzi as my special teams coach, and it was a preseason game against the Giants, and he kicks me the ball. I absolutely let it bounce. I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm not catching that. And then Coach Rizzi is on the sideline, red as can be. He was like, why you didn't catch the ball? I said, Coach, I was scared. I'm not going to lie to you. I was scared. And he was like, listen, you're good. Just catch the ball and just be you. And so I caught it and took it 40 yards, and then the rest is history. And after that, I've just been trying to perfect my craft and trying to just be the best one at the game, best one at it.
When did you know, though, okay, I'm good at this?
I would say 2018 is probably, I would say, probably what was my kind of like my best year at returns, and I was like killing it, leading the lead, and I was just like, man, I probably actually got a knack for it, and I was just tearing it up. Like, that was the year I scored, like, on a kickoff return and a punt return.
Yep.
And so I was just like, man, wow, like, I never thought I would be good at punt return ever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, when I started to get good at it, I was like, man, and that's why the previously told you the reference is backyard football. And I was like, that's all it is catch the ball and try not to get tackled.
Yeah, that's right. Make them miss.
Exactly.
Make them miss until they don't, or you get in the end zone, whatever happens first. Well, Jakeem, this is going to be a lot of fun, and certainly we're excited to have you here, and I'm sure you've gotten a sense Browns fans very passionate about their football team, and you're going to have this place rocking, man. You take one to the house, it is going to be bonkers.
Oh, yeah.
At First Energy. So
Definitely.
looking forward to that. So welcome to the Browns and congrats.
Man, I appreciate it.
Hot.
And just to give you some perspective on that, great job out of Z, great job with Jakeem there, and obviously infectious personality. The last time the Browns scored a punt return touchdown, 15. The last time they scored a kick return touchdown, 2009. He has 6 combined since 16.
He's got one or the other in 4 straight seasons. So
He good.
he's great. Love talking to him. Very infectious personality,
Yep.
great enthusiasm, a lot of self-belief, which I love. And I can tell you this, Mike Prefer is a guy that keeps it pretty, like, even keel. He's very excited about having Jakeem Grant here. I mean,
It's been a long time.
it has the potential to have the kind of impact on our return game as Transformative Turkey does on, like, my taste buds.
Same. That's exactly right. Yeah. Preef's got to be a pretty happy guy.
Yeah, got a punter that can boom it.
That can boomer.
You know, we've got Chase back, and I know that, you know, he's been working and looking good in the early going. I think that still will be a position that they're going to bring competition in at. But, yeah, Preefs, I think, is very happy. Very happy. You got a all-pro Pro Bowl back-to-back years. So that you are elite. You are electric. You've broken some of Devin Hester's records while you're with the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
He's got the relationship with Chad O'Shea, which you referenced in the interview. And so, you know, we get a chance, Chad O'Shea in studio tomorrow. We'll talk to him about Jakeem Grant and what he brings. And maybe there's a role for him to get the ball in this guy's hands in space and see what he can do. I think it's a great signing for the Browns.
Second hour up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. You know, we were having the conversation. We were talking about the Birch at Augusta the other day.
Yeah.
The official teaching pro of CBD, Mike Dickinson, with this information to me that he communicated to me yesterday. So it's the permanent structures there, right? Where the permanent merch structure, like it's permanent. But this was the part that really blew my mind. He said what it is there's stuff on mannequins and they have numbers next to them. And you say, I want that. And you don't know the price until you check out.
Well, when a quarter zip can, so you could just pop 3 quarter zips up there and they could be like, oh, that's $1,000.
$1,295, sir. Oh, really?
Maybe I'll take none.
I thought that was fascinating. Like it's the only place. I mean, they operate with completely their own rules.
Right, yeah.
Yes, it's incredible.
I had a couple buddies go there last week, and they were like, I had the credit card ready because I had literally had no idea, flying blind as to what the final cost was going to be, and I had to make sure there was enough room on that card that I was going to be able to make all this work.
Make sure you're safe there. Yeah, you could. I mean, it could get so dangerous.
Yeah.
Dude, in a hurry.
Like
the pricing, there's no pricing that would be surprising after we've seen like some of those cashmere quarter zips, and you don't know if it's cashmere until it comes down, Georgie. You're not going to know.
No, you're not. Fine merino wool.
Could be.
I mean,
who knows what you're dealing with? That was pretty good. All right, Gibby, what is this from the Dan Patrick Show? What are they doing?
I don't know. I needed a segment filler.
All right, so you want to do greatest American rock band in the city of rock and roll?
Earlier on the show, he was like, what band is the greatest American rock band ever? And I was like, man, I don't really know. Like, what defines rock?
Well, I think we know what defines rock. It's kind of like NFL replay systems. Like, you know if it's a catch or not. Although I don't know that the Rock and Roll Hall goes. I mean, I immediately go to, like, all of those bands that were big when I was a kid, like Van Halen and Aerosmith and those type of things.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, but
Motley Crue.
Right. The hair bands and then probably the peak of American. I mean, so there's that, and then there's the grunge guys. It's Pearl Jam and Nirvana and Soundgarden and Foo Fighters and those guys. That would be the next kind of greatest.
Dave Matthews Band.
Sure. Those would be kind of where you'd want to go.
Like, is the Grateful Dead?
I think the best was when me and my kids had the Game Rock Band, and we were just dominant.
Do they still make that?
I hope so. It was the best.
I feel like Bootsy would love that. I wonder if they make that.
Put
like
him on
the Xbox.
drums. Every kid could have an instrument.
Because there was rock band, right?
It was rock band. So you had lead guitar, bass guitar, drums, and your vocalist. S would like to be the crooner.
What is his music stylings? Give me his comparison.
There isn't a professional comp. There isn't anybody who does this for a living that would be the comp. No.
What about his charisma? Is there a charisma comp?
Off the charts. His charisma's kind of Ozzy Osbourne charisma.
Oh,
like
really? Just a wild. It could go in any way. Eat a head off a dove situation.
Yeah,
it's
you
all
never know. That's right.
Wow. I would not have had S as lead singer, like that he was ready for that type of panache.
I like the guitar because it was fun to play, and then our buddy the doctor, was great on the drums. There we go. But it was me and the kids. Artie would sing. Boods would be on the guitar. They'd strum the drums a little. Drums is tough, though, on Rock Band. That was the toughest, by far, instrument to play.
Yeah, I have a feeling that would be a full day.
Yeah.
On the drums. I wonder if they make that for the Xbox. They've got to, right?
It was great.
I think
probably have a cool song. Yeah, they'd love it. They'd be jamming.
Yeah, we're having we're in a real pickle right now with the on the system with the Fortnite thing. So I didn't understand what this was all about, but what constantly happens this happens daily is, okay, time to eat or you're done, and Dad, I just dropped I just got dropped into something. Give me a minute. It'll be 2 minutes, but it's not 2 minutes. It's going to be 20. I mean, it can be forever. Like, that doesn't appear there's any end to the game. Like, there's not a clock.
No.
I mean, it's outrageous. Like, when I was a kid, it was like, all right, Dad, I'm in the fourth quarter. There's 2 minutes to go. It's literally going to take me 5 minutes to finish this. He can't give me an end date. So it's a constant fight.
Well, because it depends on how he does.
Okay.
But it's nebulous. Like it could be any amount of things. He could be done in 2 minutes. He could be done in 20.
He could be done in 1 second.
Could be done in 1 second. I have no idea.
Taken right out.
I also think like when that happens, can he jump right back in
to a game?
Yeah. It feels like that happens sometimes. Like he'll
but
get bounced.
Would you are you standing there?
Well, no. I'm watching some kid play Fortnite. Like I get.
If you're standing there, you would see he dies, and then he'd have to go back to the lobby. And then you have to fly on the bus and jump out again. But yeah, you can instantly. You just hit ready up immediately, and you're in a new game lobby in 10 seconds.
That's what's going on then.
So yeah, he could always be after one more.
Is there dinner at a certain time or a roundabout time?
It's anywhere between.
This
depends on when their activities.
Let me tell you how to ask the question.
I'm writing it down.
How many people are left? That's the question. Don't ask how much longer is this going to take, because he doesn't know the answer to that. How many people are left?
Okay, and then what is a reasonable that yes you can finish or no you're done?
I think if he's in what time when you say that, how many minutes are you giving him? Like what?
I think
give me the time that you're looking for.
I usually give him a 5-minute warning.
Okay, so sub 20 he can get done in 5 minutes.
Sub 20.
Yeah, 20 or below. But if we're at like 50, that means like the drop just happened, so he could have 20 minutes to go.
Okay, so less than 20.
It starts at 100, but remember, like on the drop, you're going to get people eliminated rapidly, so then it gets down to 50 pretty good. Then once you get down to 20, that's when the game's actually on, is sub 20. That's when you're competing.
How many people are left?
Yeah, how many people are left? Because then you'll know if he's just started. If it's like in the 50s or he's like 40, like you could be looking at 15 to 20. Probably for 5 minutes, it's honestly 10 is probably the number. But under 20, he's invested and he's probably had some success. He's probably put some people down. And so he's like probably got a decent loadout where he's feeling like, all right, this could be a Vic. So if he's in the round of 20, I'd say let him go.
Okay.
It's not going to be more than 10 minutes at that point.
Why is it when if I say, like what inevitably happens, now that I have this arsenal, it'll be different. But what inevitably ends up happening is Peyton now. Like that's the tone. And then to him, it is like not only is it devastating to him, but he paints the picture that I have let down all of his friends.
Okay, so they're squatting. Okay, that changes. So it's a squad. He's not soloing.
There's a bunch of buddies he's yelling at.
That's all I know. Squads 20 is absolutely a wrap for 5 minutes, because that means there's only 5 squads, maybe 6, 7 if there are a couple duos or trios.
Yeah.
20. If there's 20 people left in a squad, you're a wrap in 5 minutes or less. But he is letting people down. He's part of a team, and they've invested.
So that's valid.
That is valid.
Hey, so it's on him if you know dinner's coming.
So yeah.
Listen, he's having a time with his pros. Listen, Bryce loves it, and Bryce, I make him pretty good with it. And I'm like, look, all right, you're out. You have one. You can finish this one, but then you're out, and that could mean you get taken out right here. You're out. But if you're trying to equate a time to it, you need to ask him how many people are left, and if there's 20, you're fine in a squad situation, because that means there's 5 squads of 4. They're like I said, it could end up being 8 squads for 20 because some will be 3s and 2s or whatever. Okay. But what would happen is if you say you now,
which I do,
okay, they could be
really pissed.
It could be at the very end of the game, 4-on-4, builds are going on. You say now, he could be the guy who's putting in fire so his buddy can come around the flank, and then like you say now, he just stands there. He's going to get killed. They've got the numbers, and now it's 4-on-3, and then they're overwhelmed.
So I've let the whole town down at that point.
Right. Well, they're not only they're all dead. So
in a video game.
That's
so right. Fontana says it's better to ask what circle he's in.
So that means which storm circle.
The higher the number, the closer to the end. Yeah, we're not there yet. I can't imagine. That seems extreme.
He would know that because like how many. If you said how many ticks is the storm right now, that would tell you. But you don't need to do that. Just that. What I'm telling you right there. That's what you need.
How many people are left?
How many people are left? That'll give you the easiest.
So he is valid though. That like when I say turn it off now, like when I say that to him, because he doesn't. He knows, like, that's it.
Especially there could be situations where maybe it's like 3-on-2 or 3-on-3, and they're about to taste Vic, and you're like, you're out, and then it goes from being a Vic to not a Vic anymore.
Yeah, and then he paints this, like, it's incredible despair in it for him, and then it usually goes along like, guys, I got to go, like that. And
yeah, and they're probably like, no,
dummy,
like,
we're in the
please,
middle
come
of
on.
this.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing.
Rub some dirt on it.
No.
that's
I've
my
given you
tone.
no. Hold on. I've given you a good. Now you could understand
How many people are left? Now I
Right.
got a better feel for it.
Because if he
so
says
for his mind, then like so, if we usually eat if there are no activities like there weren't last night.
'Kay.
You're usually eating between 5:30 and 6.
Okay.
Somewhere in that vicinity.
'Kay.
So he shouldn't fire something up. Like if he's with a squad play,
5 should be the last drop that he does, unless it's 6. If it's 6, I would say like 5:20 would be his last drop.
that should be
if
his
it's
last
5:30.
drop. So that's on. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna empower him to monitor his drops.
Your
versus
last
dinner.
drop cannot be within 30 minutes of dinner. Your last drop has to, like, once you hit inside of that, like, don't drop again, because then you're running the risk if you're setting that up. Now, look, it could take 20 minutes. You could even give him a 20-minute window. Say your last drop, you got 20 minutes, because then he's never going to go more than like 5 minutes over dinner at that point. So if you say it's a 20-minute, no drops after 20 minutes prior to dinner, or 25.
I feel like I'm armed now,
Yeah, now you've got to get info now.
and I'll go Pearl Jam, greatest American rock band ever. That's where I'll go.
It's a pretty good one.
Longevity, a lot
Pretty
of hits.
good.
Played the hits, did it for 30 years.
Yeah.
Maybe not shine as bright as some individually. Foos would be closer to, but Grohl's with Nirvana, and some people might consider them the greatest. It was a short run, but really
If you
great.
go through like Use Your Illusion 1 and 2,
It's just a
Guns-
short.
but
It's 3.
there's a lot there though.
There is.
There's a lot.
But is it timeless? I don't know that music feels like dated to me, or well, maybe it doesn't because my kids they love Welcome to the Jungle. They can't wait to hear.
Welcome to the Jungle is
Welcome to the Jungle is the best side one, track one. It's in the conversation. Best side
Maybe
one,
ever.
track one, set the tone ever.
Cruise catalog's pretty darn stout too.
Yeah, that wasn't for me.
It wasn't for
Wasn't
me.
into
It was,
those
it was
guys.
before. I think it was like
Yeah,
a
it was
little bit before us.
Like Guns N' Roses was the one for
Yeah.
my group, and then that got blown up by the grunge.
I'd go
boys.
like, I know it's not rock per se. I'd go NWA.
I agree with. Well, aren't they going into the Rock Hall? Didn't they go in?
They should. Maybe.
Yeah,
They just need to
hip-hop's
call that
in.
the Music Hall of Fame.
Music Hall of Fame. Although country has their own that was first, so I think that's why Dolly Parton's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Sad.
We'll go around the league coming up next. This is Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. I got a question for you, kids. Why not transform your bathroom into a custom bath? It'll feel like a spa. I guess it's not much of a question, but rather a statement. Why wouldn't you want to do that? The Bath Authority can give you the bathroom of your dreams. Give my friends at the Bath Authority a call. I know they'll take care of you, buddy. They'll make it a reality for you. Fraction of the cost. They'll do it in about a day for the total project. They're Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler, expert factory-trained installers. You give them a call now, you get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399. Or go to thebathauthority.com. As I mentioned, it's where affordability meets quality. They have the largest selection of bath projects. They're all made in the United States. Change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. Acrylic tubs that insulate and keep the heat in. Tub-to-shower conversions. Simply put, superior products, expert installers, 216-220-8399, $500 off. Call right now. Check them out, bathauthority.com. So I just saw this on the social before we get around the league. There is a quarterback of some regard who is headed to the University of Miami. A kid named Tyler Van Dyke is his name. Okay, he's one of the top. He's not the best quarterback in the 2023 class, but he's a good quarterback. He's going to the University of Miami. So Sean O'Dare, who represents, let me see who he represents. Yeah, he represents the Rosenhaus Sports Group. He's an NFL agent for the Rosenhaus Sports Group. So he works with Tyler Van Dyke. And the picture is, congratulations to Tyler Van Dyke on his new ride. It's a BMW 750i Sport for the rest of his collegiate career through an NIL deal with Sarconi Auto Gallery. So this is, I'm guessing, a $140,000 car, $125,000. The 7 Series Sport BMW, that's over $100 for sure. 120, somewhere in that neck of the woods.
Nice
would be my guess. Very, very nice car. There is no promise that this kid is going to be the starting quarterback at the University of Miami next year. There's no promise that he'll be the starting quarterback at the University of Miami the following year. He may transfer like Quinn Ewers did. So if you are this is all now above board because of name, image, and likeness. If you are the auto dealer, what are you hoping comes of this? Or are you just a Miami booster and this is your way of enticing people to come to Miami?
Probably some of all of the above, right? It's a way that they can help entice people to come to the school, and it's marketing. This is the cool car. You want to have this car. It's just a marketing expense. It's probably one that's like maybe not flying off the lot. So we'll use it as like a loaner and get some expense out of it. Get some hype.
It's hard to imagine that the people that follow Tyler Van Dyke are people who could afford this range car. And the people who can are probably not following him either. He's got 9,000 followers on Twitter. So it's not like some huge thing.
I have more than that.
Significantly. And so you do wonder, like, I was thinking about this from an auto standpoint, like what it feels like they're giving far too much credit to the reach of these kids.
I agree with that.
By a wide margin.
But you're hoping that maybe he becomes something. It's not like the value of the car is gone forever, right?
No. But I mean, he's going to drive it for 3 years at least. If it says his entire career, so the deal must be his entire career. I would imagine there's now language in that, so if he were to leave, he would not get to keep the car.
Sure,
like that happened down in Columbus with that Quinn Ewers kid, where they had, like they did a deal with him, and then he had to give the car back because he was going to Austin. I'm sure he got a deal down there. But it's just wild. A, that it's above board, and B, I'm just wondering what you're hoping to give back.
What's your best outcome?
What's the best
is
possible?
That he becomes a stud and is the number 1 pick in the draft, and you have this
Drives
relationship with
forever.
him, and maybe you're right, exactly.
Yeah, and you're Miami guy, so you're like, now I'm contributing to keeping him here, keeping him happy.
Sure.
There's a kid in next year's class, quarterback, 6'6" quarterback. So think about, there should be a red flag there. 6'6" quarterback.
That's
out
the
of
cutoff.
Long Beach
That's
Poly,
the absolute cutoff.
At a Long Beach Poly powerhouse program that it got an $8 million deal at Tennessee to play football at Tennessee. $8 million. He's not Arch Manning. He's not even, in most people's estimation, the second or third best quarterback in that class. But he got $8 million.
Good for these. Good for these kids.
I agree, but I think that it's Wild West right now, and eventually you're not going to see the ROI that you're hoping for.
No way,
because you're investing in a 17-year-old kid who you have no idea how this is going to go.
Right. So, exactly, and you're going to have so many of these people are going to flame out, and so the idea that. And how do you win? That's the thing. Like, so how do you win?
Too.
So they go the NFL and then they become,
well, in Knoxville,
Pat
I
Mahomes,
suppose,
and then they're gonna what? Are they gonna repay you that?
No.
way.
No, it's no.
So
I think the way you win is if you're Tennessee and you haven't had a whole lot of success in 20 years on the football field, and you've watched Bama and everybody else, you feel like if we just get the quarterback, others will follow. What the win is, if you're one of the people that came up with that money for the kid, is I am responsible for putting Tennessee football back on the map.
Yep.
And so we're now competitive again. We're winning the SEC.
So your best case scenario is your Buddy Garrity.
Yeah, on the college level. Yeah.
Buddy Garrity's great.
He was fantastic.
He had a lot of similarities to Zago. Some of his mannerisms and sayings were very Zago-esque.
Well, you saying that Zago has similarities to Buddy Garrity, does it stop just at the sayings, or is it lifestyle choices and so forth? Because Buddy Garrity he's living a hell of a life.
Zago lived a great life, but Zago was much more of an academic. The world
Buddy
of the
was
academe. Yes.
Very, very comfortable in the shadows.
Yes.
And out. Both ways.
All of it.
Yeah. Loved him.
The great Brandon Lynch coming through.
Look at him looking strong. Wow. Good to see
Let's
him.
go.
Apparently the USFL kicks off this weekend. Are you interested? No, I'm not. I will not. I won't watch. I won't be.
Total full disclosure.
Yep.
No clue that this was happening.
Me either until I just read it.
Same. And then my immediate question was, can I name one player in the USFL right now? And I came to the conclusion I'm not sure that I can.
No, I haven't heard of anybody.
Didn't they do a draft like a little while ago?
I have no idea.
No, I don't have a clue.
The always humble Jack Collinsworth will handle play-by-play with Paul Burmeister.
You said he's the one true Collinsworth.
He's the one true Collinsworth. Yeah. Jason Garrett, the former Cowboys head coach, is going to handle some color along with Michael Robinson and former Saints defensive end Cam Jordan. That will serve as analysts. The A team is Kurt Menefee and Joel Klatt.
It's not bad.
Fox is investing, man.
Yeah, that's not bad.
You're throwing those guys out there. Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, Brock Hewitt on the B team for Fox. Wow. Like Fox, that's as A as it gets. I think Klatt's probably their best color guy regardless of – like you could put Klatt on the NFL 1 team. He's their best guy.
No doubt.
So they're going all in on that. I don't get it. I just don't – to me, I guess it just depends on what you want it to be. If you're trying to fill whatever void is there for football in the spring, there is an audience for that.
Yes.
I think it's a small audience, and Buddy, I think it's a finite audience. I don't think it's one that's going to get bigger. I think it's kind of an audience that's there. It'll be there, but it's not one that I don't think will grow substantially.
The NFL has the ultimate training ground already
Yeah.
in college football. I do like what, for example, the AAF did and give a guy like Dearness Johnson a chance, and then look at where he is now. So I think there will be some good stories that can come out of this. I'm much more intrigued by the XFL.
So XFL is back in 2023.
Yes.
Interesting that they made their big announcements today.
Yeah, I mean,
That
these
is
guys
timed
are
up with the USFL quite nicely.
So it's The Rock and his ex-wife. They're the league owners. 8 starting head coaches.
It's nice to see that they get along.
I just don't know that anyone dislikes The Rock except Vin Diesel. And I just wonder, like, what did Vin Diesel do to The Rock that made The Rock hate him so much? Because
but
it
I know
feels
other
like
people
everybody
that,
else,
like most people, by and large, like, and they don't have such a nice thing going as The Rock and Danny Garcia.
Wade Phillips, Bob Stoops,
This is a good
Terrell
roster.
Buckley, Hines Ward, Rod Woodson, Reggie Barlow, Anthony Becht, Jim Haslett are the 8 starting quarterback, or coaches rather.
How many of
this
these
thing.
guys have coaching experience?
Stoops,
Phillips, Haslett. But I mean, like, I'd be pretty pumped if I ended up on Rod Woodson's team or Hines Ward's team.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like it's
If
a
I
pretty
had
big
By the
drop
way,
off.
does it matter?
Professional future like that. Maybe
I don't think
could
it's
get
going to be
noticed.
that. I mean, just a
Look
nice,
at the cross on the inside, the lining. That looked like a. If I was to describe it, a burgundy.
I felt like it
from
was.
like
Yeah,
a
and
French
there's nothing-
Rhone.
look, there's
a
nothing
nice
I like
Rhone.
more than a powder blue and a burgundy.
Baco Nation
Gorgeous.
going right by.
Nation following right behind
Yeah.
with a knapsack.
You know,
around
he's smart though. He's drifting, right? He's right
him.
in
Yeah,
the.
just hang in the just stay behind
it's
the wake.
requiring like 50% as much as a normal step would
Stay
take,
in
as
the
he's
wake of
right
it.
in the wake. Yeah,
That's
smooth,
perfect.
smooth air.
I like The Rock. Everybody likes The Rock. Are they going to eventually at some point go head to head? Like, are they both going to go in the
I feel
spring?
like yes.
I'll tell you this. The first one that can form some sort of partnership with the National Football League will be the one that succeeds. As some sort of hey, we would really like to see X quarterback playing some games. Let's send him down to the New Jersey Gamblers or whatever the hell the name of these teams are. Send him there, and let him get 6 games under his belt. Like true developmental league for the NFL. The first one that forms some sort of partnership with the NFL is the one that's going to survive. And I would think The Rock would be. I don't know who owns this USFL. Who owns it? Do the 2 television companies own it?
It feels that way. NBC and Fox, yeah. Not The Rock, the great one.
The great one, yeah. I'll roll with the great one. I feel like his chances of getting this done are good. I mean, he's going to promote the heck out of it. Has he missed on anything that he's put his name behind recently? Feels like
his energy
Zoa
drink's great.
slings.
Terramana is the #1 selling spirit of all time in its first year. Young Rock is doing very well.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
all of his movies are great. No,
I don't know if they're all great, but they're all well received. I mean, they're
profitable.
Profitable. Yeah, that's it. That's the way to do that.
Profitable.
All right, so we'll see. Black Adam will be his next. That is his next. That's a big franchise he's banking on. So we'll see how that.
He's
one
pretty
goes.
pumped about it too.
Yes, he is. All right, we'll do a little higher or lower, better or worse, over or under win totals. This will be fun. We do this coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. bad advice out there about gambling. Methods to picking lottery numbers to betting big when you're on a roll. The miss can lose you money and get you in a lot of trouble. So before you wager, find out what's real and what isn't at keepitfunohio.com. And time for a little higher lower presented by the Ohio Lottery. Hello, Gibby.
What's the weather doing?
It's gray. I don't know.
A little bit of rain, maybe.
Can't tell if it's raining or not raining.
No.
Not great.
A little bit, maybe.
Disappointing. Sad. Time for a little higher or lower.
Rain for at least 60 minutes.
Woo.
Next 4 hours. Basically, rain should stop around 4:30 is what I'm seeing.
Great. Looks nice and poopy out there. That's right. Poopy.
Great. Great word.
We are presented by the Ohio Lottery. Today, talking win totals. This compliments of DraftKings and their pre-draft team win predictions. What's wrong?
I mean, Saturday 53, Sunday 46, Monday 49, Tuesday 43.
Yeah, dude, I said this.
51.
I'll think of you often.
Come on, man. Enough.
Enough.
What are we doing?
It's not fair. It's not fair.
It's not great. That's for sure.
Dude, you could be, you know what it is right now? And can I interest you? Here's the next lineup.
My buddy's going
74, 83, 89, 90, 90, 90, 88, 87, 90. I don't see clouds.
You're not having the sniffles, wherever that is.
No. Dry as a bone.
Yuck.
By the way,
sure this
I don't
is
know
the snottiest I've ever heard you, seen you, in the time we've known one another.
Fortunately, it hasn't been snotty as much as it's just been congested,
A
sniffly.
state of congest.
And I'll tell you, I took NyQuil last night.
Buddy boy. Depth
Dude.
charge.
Like, I still don't know that I feel normal. Like, my head is, it's
Like, it puts you out.
yeah, and but weird.
Still hazy?
Clouds.
Yeah.
Not a big fan. I only take that if I absolutely have to.
I never notice anything from it. But I drink about a bottle of it a night.
You build up your tolerance like I have to iocane powder.
Yeah, there's
No,
enough
and don't do
alcohol
that,
in there,
kids.
too, to give you a little.
Don't do that.
Don't do that, kids.
No.
Yeah,
No.
don't do that. Just
No,
kidding. Just
please.
a jest from your Uncle Beau. Just a joke. Little jokey joke.
Please, I don't need to be in any meetings today.
Well, they have them a lot. There's a lot of walking around to them.
I know. We're busy. As of today, would the following teams' win totals be higher or lower than
Should
their
they be?
projections?
Okay, so we're saying we think this is too high or too low.
Yeah,
correct?
higher, lower.
This
or
isn't
just
actual
right?
higher lower. This isn't even a better or worse. We can actually do higher lower.
It actually is.
It actually is.
Finally, it
higher
makes
or
sense.
lower.
My
Yeah.
Easter gift to you. Danny, hit it.
Higher or lower?
First and foremost, we'll start off with the AFC North. The Cleveland Browns, 9.5 in the projected win total pre-draft. And a lot still to go in free agency, too, I would like to think. Higher, lower, just right.
I mean, I would say this. The fact that it's this without the knowledge of what Deshaun Watson will be eligible to play or not tells you what they think of our roster.
That's right.
So the fact that you're at 9.5, the same number as the Ravens, the same number as Cincinnati, a half below Denver, Tennessee, Raven, all of these are 9.5. You're there without knowing how long you're going to have one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big tip of the cap to, yeah, you're real good. You're real good. Because if you knew, that leads me to believe if you knew, it would probably be more like 10.5.
Yes.
Like if it was none, for sure none, it would probably be more like 10.5.
I like the over here. I believe that we will get to double-digit wins this year.
Yeah. Next,
Higher or lower?
the Bengals and the Ratbirds.
Wait, are we saying we think that we're going to be over or under, or that we think the line should be higher or lower?
We think
Is that kind of the same?
Kind of the same. If you think it's going to be over, then the line should be higher, I guess, or under, lower. I would probably put it for us at 10, but everybody likes to have a half.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd probably put it right at 10 for us because if you go 11-6, you've really done something, I think. And then for the Browns at 9-8.
I don't think it's what we think the line should be.
It's
Right
do
now,
we think right now we're over that?
would the
Then
team
higher.
be
Yes.
higher, lower, or in some
Higher.
cases just right?
Well, in that
depending
case, we could do better or worse. We're better than 9.5
Look, buddy.
wins.
Yeah, bring
We
it back.
brought it back.
There you go.
We
Good
have
job.
tomorrow.
Just brought it back.
on. I'd like you to see the sun come up on Friday.
Oh,
The Bengals are at 9.5. Higher, lower, or just right?
better.
Can't be just right at 9.5. But
Better.
They're better. I mean, they got three. They fixed their offensive line in free agency. They haven't drafted anybody.
What was the over-under on like airplanes that was a half? And I'm like, you can't have half an airplane.
half an airplane.
That's the best.
Well done.
Yeah.
I go better for them.
Yeah, better too.
Next.
By the way, though, the one thing we're going to have to be careful about here is
This is pre-draft. This is
No. But this, I'm not holding us accountable. I'm just saying, like,
Good.
we keep saying I would never hold us accountable. You know me. That one thing we do have to say is like somebody in the AFC has to lose.
Yes.
It's not going to be us, damn it.
I mean, my God,
Next.
you've got
Higher or lower?
The Ratbirds, 9.5. Higher or lower?
Same. Something doesn't feel right about what's going on there.
lower.
I'll go lower.
I just feel like
Worse.
it's bad vibes, man. Bad vibes.
Next.
Higher or lower?
Rapid fire.
Yeah, you really are smoking through these. I mean, it's like a second comment.
Pukers, 7.5. Higher, lower, just right. Can't be just right.
Worser.
It's gonna be the worst.
I think
it's gonna be the
actually
worst
think
year in
higher.
Steelers.
You think higher
Under the Tomlin
Mi-
era.
with Mitch Trubisky?
They have enough other weapons.
Who?
And they have a
Najee,
good
Claypool,
defense?
Deontay. Do they though? Still?
Are we sure?
Are we sure? We sure about that?
Are you sure that secondary
I don't
is
want to give them credit,
They've
but
got
I
a
feel like they could be 8,
supremely
9.
talented
The
pass
AFC North's
rusher
competitive enough.
and a great defensive tackle,
You talking to me?
but someone's got to lose. Yeah.
Who are their corners?
Tell your sister I said hello.
The Gabagool.
The gabagool.
12 out of 5 marons.
All right. So
Have you seen this guy? You know what he's talking about?
No.
Coogene, I think. Coog.
I mean, you were just doing De Niro and Taxi
I was
Driver.
there
You just
before.
said a gabagool for Soprano.
Yeah, so
But
this
but
guy's
there's
on.
a guy who does this?
He's on Instagram.
oh my God.
Coog,
it's
and he
okay.
does.
Please do not play it. There's vulgarity.
Yeah, there is vulgarity. But if you did meals by, it's meals_by_CUG. And he goes around and he kind of does like what Portnoy does, but on sandwiches and a lot of Italian foods. And he's got 500,000 followers.
Good
and he's
grief.
quite funny. And he almost looks like somebody from Encanto come to life.
Okay.
An Italian Encanto.
I
He's
like
very
that guy.
entertaining.
You guys see the so I want to follow that guy. This guy's
Yeah.
not as entertaining, but he's probably the least self-aware human I've ever seen. Have you guys seen the Frank Severo? You know who this guy is? So he's the guy that they freeze in Goodfellas.
Okay.
You know, the guy with the
Oh,
eyebrows?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, so he's that
The
guy.
pink Cadillac.
Yeah. So he's that guy. He's also has like a very small role in Goodfellas. Or not Goodfellas, in The Godfather. So from what I can tell, these are the only 2 roles, and they're small in both. He presents himself as if he is De Niro.
I love it.
Like as if at one point he's like, yeah, can you do Goodfellas without whoever the player he's playing, the guy he's playing? Can you do it? I don't think so. Guess not. So every time he comes on, he goes, hey, Frank Severo here, quesadich. It's unreal. The guy's unreal.
How do you spell his last name?
Severo?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Seviro, maybe?
Frank Severa.
Yes.
Yeah, got him. Severa.
What's he been in? We can get to the NFC teams.
No, I don't
tomorrow.
think
We'll
it's
do the
much. I
AFC
think
team.
it's I think that he's just those 2 things. Like he will put like he's not even in
No,
that
that's
many
not him.
scenes.
That's not the guy.
Frank
just-
Severo is what it is the guy's name. Let me find it. I am Frank Severo. Sivero. Look at this.
Yeah.
Hey, quesadilla.
So what other movies has he been in?
No, that's it. Hey, how you doing? Just want to let you know how things are going for me. I'll be in Brooklyn at a bar on a Tuesday.
Oh, no, this guy's been
Outside
in.
some
Say hello.
outside from things. Come out and say hello. It's Frank Severo.
He's been in a
Quesadilla.
lot of things.
Yeah, but he never started anything. Like it's just.
He's been in.
He was
something
in
else that
Godfather.
I've
He's in Goodfellas.
I just said that. Goodfellas,
Goodfellas, Godfather.
That's it.
New York, New York.
No idea. Keep going.
The Wedding Singer. Little
Probably
Nicky.
a cameo. Probably
Maybe
a
that's where I
cameo.
know him from.
No, you don't. You only know him from
in
Godfather.
addition to Godfather.
And he's been on The
Goodfellas.
Simpsons.
No. He sued The Simpsons because there's apparently a character on The Simpsons that he sued them because of the likeness.
Good for him.
October 2014, Severo initiated a $250 million lawsuit against Fox Television Studios, alleges that in '89 he lived next door to the writers from The Simpsons. The writers knew he was working on his Goodfellas character. It alleged that the writers were aware of the entire character of Frankie Carbone was created and developed by Severo, who based the character on his own personality. Short time later, a character named Louie began appearing on The Simpsons. Louie is described as a mafioso character, second in command to Fat Tony, and
That's
similar
it.
in
I
appearance
do
and
know
mannerisms to Severo. Severo alleged that his likeness was being infringed upon. The case was dismissed, with the judge asserting the character Louis was a parody of several mod characters. Sad for him.
Like, you didn't need a super $250 million. You just go to the guy and go, hey, how about a little something for the effort here?
I don't
help
even
you out a little
know,
bit.
like, the amount of time. He's most famous for the Goodfellas thing.
Yep.
On a list of important characters in Goodfellas, what is he, 10th?
Yeah.
I mean, it's way down.
Way
down the list. Was he in it for 10 minutes total screen
Love it.
time?
I
Probably
love it.
not.
He
Probably
walked
2.
in. Hey, come look at
De Niro
look at the
threw
new
him out.
car. Right after they got done telling him,
De
don't
Niro-
buy anything nice.
De
don't buy
Niro
anything
yanks the
expensive,
fur off of his wife.
Nothing. The feds are watching
Yeah.
us, and here I come with this pink Cadillac.
Yeah. And his wife's in the fur.
Yeah.
In
And
the fur.
He,
Rips
De
it.
Niro rips the fur off.
All right, so we're
Amazing.
going to save the rest
Save
of
the
the
NFC.
NFL
Save
for
the
tomorrow.
NFC.
We'll
Save
Yeah,
save
it.
save
that
it.
for tomorrow.
Save it.
Sorry, we were derailed by the
No, it's
by these
okay.
two people.
Coogene.
Yes.
What's that guy? How do I follow that guy? I got to see what that guy's all about.
Meals _ Coog.
I'm in.
C-U-G.
I'm absolutely in.
He's actually quite entertaining.
Oh my God, Zegura was playing a few bites this morning. I was dying laughing.
It was good.
I like this guy. Pretty amazing in the AFC, though, to bring it full circle, and someone's going to have to lose. Patriots, Dolphins, Raiders, all 8.5,
Which is
their number.
Wild.
Very. The Steelers are 7.5.
Yep.
No losing record under Tomlin. Jaguars 6 and 5.
6.5.
6.5. Jets 5.5. Texans 4.5.
There's only 3 teams essentially that are projected to
Have double digit
Fully
losses.
be out of it.
8 games.
Only 3 teams projected to have double digit losses in the AFC.
That's right. In the NFC, there's 1, 2, 3,
6.
4, 5, 6 of them.
6.
Plus 2 more at 7.5.
2 at 7.5. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
8 of the
it's gonna be
16.
the idea that the Cincinnati Bengals, who were in the Super Bowl last year, improved their offensive line and are 9.5 in year 3 of Burrow.
Like, how about the fact that they're 9.5 and the Niners are 10?
I mean, what are they thinking? It's going to be Garoppolo? Or do they think that Lance is ready for that?
There's a lot of belief in Kyle.
Well,
We'll break them all down tomorrow.
yeah, we'll do the NFC tomorrow. All right, you have that to look forward to, which is nice. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Car, truck, or motorcycle accident caused you injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK, Ohio for a free case review. Elk and Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Tomorrow on the program, Chad O'Shea will be joining us here in studio, right?
Pumped.
That'll be fun. We'll all get smarter. ESPN draft analyst Jordan Reed will join us as well. He's a great friend of the program and a rising star at the Four Letter Network.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Meteoric. Kind of like the draft Orlovsky.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. I like it. I like where you're at there. I don't have a problem with that. That makes a lot of sense. Gizadich. Amazing.
12 out of 5 marons.
I like it. All right. The next level. I hope that it is wet out there. I can see.
Yeah.
30
moist.
seconds.
Suck. Next level's next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 8:50, ESPN Cleveland.